Hi there! I hope you're ready to have a lovely weekend. It's Sunday morning, which is when I usually record after sleeping in for a bit. Let's do a quick recap of my last video. I talked about this concept of time, and I hope that you thought about it a bit for yourself. I talked about this pressure that we put on ourselves to produce or to create. And I hope that you're being gentle on yourself and that you're giving yourself some trust in this journey. Now let me give you a quick update of my week thus far. I have been feeling way better and way less stressed this week. I feel that I finally found my balance again. And it took me like 3 weeks to really process everything and to feel calm in this step that I'm taking. So I've got my energy back, I worked out a lot, and me and my sister started this challenge. We went vegetarian for a week and I must say it feels awesome. And I've never really been a big meat eater, but cutting it out of my diet, that's the first. I must say that it does take some time and some effort to really get into it because you have to think about what you're going to eat. But it feels so good. And also, my yoga teacher told me that I look so slim, so I'm definitely holding on to this one. The business course is going great. It's my second week and I'm feeling so inspired. My brain is working overtime. This course gets so deep into what you want, why you want what you want, what your ideal customer is, and how you envision your life in like 10 years from now. For today, I want to take you back for a bit into my first step of my soul searching process. This was about a year and a half ago when I started reading a book that was on my mom's bookshelves. It's a book about personalities and the 9 types of personalities there are. When I started reading this book, I had such a huge epiphany. So I really recommend that you read something like this about personalities to discover more about yourself. So the book is about getting honest with yourself. It's about self-observation and self-analysis. You can discover your own ways of behaving and you can start letting go of the stuff that isn't serving you. So it all comes down to this idea that your personality is like a tool that we developed ourselves in our early childhood. It's what protects us and what serves like a defense mechanism on points where you feel that you missed out on something or where you started having fears. So your personality is actually a way of coping with life. The first huge lesson that I took out of it is that I am not my personality. In essence, we all come to this world as some sort of bulb of light. But we start adding layers to that to protect ourselves. So it's kind of like an onion. You start just adding layers on top of each other. So there are 9 personality types and they are called the reformer, the helper, the achiever, the individualist, the investigator, the loyalist, the enthusiast, the challenger, and the peacemaker. So we can be a mix of these types, but usually one pattern is our basis. In the book you can find out what your childhood fears and desires are. And mine is, for instance, the fear that I will not be taken care of. So my type of personality thinks that you cannot be dependent on anything or anyone. And I kind of know that from myself now. I think that once you know more about these patterns, it's easier to recognize. And if you want, then you can start distancing yourself from it. Because the second interesting thing from this book that I found out is that you can be healthy in your personality, which is when you're feeling good, but you can also be in a very unhealthy state. This is when you're more fixated on identifying yourself with your ego, and probably you will have a lot of conflicts with other people. You might start chasing the wrong things, or you might start manipulating other people, or maybe you become very dominant, or you try to bash others, or maybe you're the type of person who starts ignoring other people. When you experience disappointment or loss or stress or insecurity, you can start acting out of your personality and you can start acting like another personality type. For example, when you're in a stressful situation, a more scattered person can suddenly become such a perfectionist and such a critic. And for instance, a dutiful person can become very arrogant and very eager. Once I knew what I was identifying myself with, and I still am at some points, and I know my motivations behind it, it becomes way more easier to let go of it. Another plus point about knowing about these personality types is that you can start recognizing patterns within other people. And even though these people are on their own journey, it can still be helpful to you to recognize, for instance, when somebody's being self-destructive or self-sabotaging, and it might help you to understand these people better. So read this book to get all the theories on it, because it's really interesting. And maybe you can start stripping down those layers that aren't serving you or aren't necessary to identify yourself with. But this is what I want you to remember. Having a personality is not a bad thing, but it can be so helpful to know more about yourself and to be aware of your motivations and your behavior. A fun exercise to do, which can also tell you a lot more about yourself, is to ask 25 of your closest friends and family what your 3 best qualities are. Now, I had to do this exercise this week and I got back a lot of interesting and cool stuff. So my personality type is mostly type 7, which is the enthusiast. And I got enthusiastic back a lot. Moreover, I got back loyal, positive, honest, and audacious. So this is a fun way to see how your personality is serving you for the better. I hope you'll have a lovely week. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next week.